This lesson we're going to talk about measure of variations. Measure of variations, we're going to see if we can find range, deviations, square of deviations, population variance, sample variance, and sample standard deviations. So range is finding the difference between the largest to the smallest. That's the range. But variation, square of variation, all this is order to find your standard deviations, you go through it. So basically you're looking for variations and standard deviations. Don't forget, this section also gives you two different formulas for different standard deviations. And you should be able to use both. Depends on which one is better suited for you. So if we start the example with finding a range, if this is all this number is given, your range is between the values between a largest number minus the smallest number. So here your largest number is 120, smallest number is 0. So your range is starting from 0 to 120. So your range is going to be for A, 120 minus 0, which is 120. For B, your range is going to be the largest number, 430. Smallest number look like 19, gives you 411. Now, rest of the problem is related to sample variance or standard deviations. Like I said, in order to find the standard deviation, you wanted to find the variation first. So this is just the same thing, and we just wanted to go further, right? Further to find the standard deviations. So first, example 2, they want to find the sample variance. Remember what was the formulas of sample variance? So sample variance formula was like that, right? Sample variance, stand with letter S square, is summations of data minus mean square over n, which is the number of the data, minus 1. So in order to do the summations, first you need to find out the mean. So in order to find the mean, add this to all 5 numbers, 32, 41, 47, 53, 57, divide that by 5, which gives you 46. So you have this number, right? So what you wanted to do is each data minus mean. Each of this data minus means, and then square them. And whatever that number is, find the sum of it. So let me do that on the side. So you have age, which is given 32, 41, 47, 53, 57, right? You wanted to do data minus mean. So you're doing 32 minus 46. So 32 minus 46, which you end up getting negative 14. And you do 41 minus 46 will be negative 5. 47 minus 46 is 1. 53 minus 46 is 7. 57 minus 41 is 11. When you find out the sum, this is what total means when you add them up. This first data minus means, you end up getting 0. And if you get 0, that means you did right. And that's why you're going to square this, so that you can actually have the value instead of canceling out each other with negative and positive. So let's do data minus mean square. It means negative 14 square, which you end up getting 196. Negative 5 square is 25. 1 square is 1. 7 square, 49. 11 square, 121. When you add them up, that's what sum means. You're going to end up getting 392. So the numerator is going to be 392. How many data? 5 minus 1. You end up getting 98. So 392 over 4 is going to be 98. And that's going to be sample variance. But let's say if we wanted to go further with this. Once we find the sample variance, you're going to square root this. So in order to find the standard deviations, you're going to square root your standard sample variance. Then you're going to end up getting standard deviations. Right? So standard deviation S comes from the same thing but square root. So we're going to try one more time for example 3. So first, you wanted to find mean. So it will be 2 plus 8 plus 3 plus 2 plus 6 plus 11 plus 31 plus 9. Divide all this by the number of the data. So you're going to have 8 of them. So this gives you 9. So your standard deviation is 9. So let's find out. Let me draw the table. So for 2, 8, 3, 2, 6, 11, 31, 9, and summations, right? And then you're going to find out what is x minus mean. And then you do square of it. So 2 minus 9 is going to be 7. 8 minus, that will be negative 7, right? 8 minus 9 is negative 1, negative 6, negative 7, negative 3, 2, 22. 9 minus 9 is 0. Again, remember when you're adding all that up, it will be 0. And when you square that, it will be 49. 1, 36, 49, 9, 4, 22 times 22, 484, and 0. And when you add all that up, it will be 632. So in order to find the standard deviations, we do square root of summations of x minus x, which mean square over n minus 1. So when we plug in that value, we will get square root of 632 over 9 minus 1, which is going to be square root of 632 over 8. And it gives you somewhere close to square root of 90.2857. And when you round it, it will give you 9.5019. And this unit should be in minutes. then I wanted to show you one more method. Remember, we had two formulas. So using the same problems, let me see if I can show you how to do it with the other formula. So the other formula was S equals to square root of summation of x squared minus number of the data times mean square all over n minus 1. So if I wanted to find summation of x squared, that will be, you're getting 2 squared, 8 squared. So 2 squared plus 8 squared plus 3 squared, right? So it will be 2 squared plus 8 squared plus 3 squared plus 2 squared plus 6 squared plus 11 squared plus 31 squared plus 9 squared, which is going to be 1,280. And then if we wanted to do mean square is 9 squared. And when you plug in that into the formula, it will be 1280 minus 9 times 9 squared over 9 minus 1. And don't forget, this is all under square roots, denominator and numerator, all of them, right? So this gives you, this is 8, right? You have n equals to 8. So then this is going to be giving you somewhere close to 90.3. As you can see, it's little different value, but really, really small difference. And when you round off, you're going to end up getting the same number. And when you do square root of that, that is 9.5 minutes. So we did the two different formula to find the standard deviations with given values.